Do you happen to be looking for a new microphone? Does it happen to be the Maono PD300X? If so, that's what I'm going to dive into in this video, so stick around. So one of the things that stands out for me is it's a 24-bit microphone, and a lot of your budget microphones, a lot of the mics from FineFine, they're starting to slowly come out with 24-bit, but a lot of them have always been 16-bit, so that's a huge plus. This does have a sample rate of 192 kilohertz, and then you've got the dual connection, so you have XLR and USB, plus the headphone jack in the bottom to monitor if you're doing USB. It does have the tactile mute button, the multifunction knob on the top, and if you're running Windows or PC, you can use the Maono Link software and get some EQing and do some things with the sound with that. All right, and this is what it sounds like with nothing. This is an XLR mode, so we don't have the option of using the Maono Link software, which we don't have anyway because it's not available. It's available for, it says it's available for Mac and like for iPad and iPhone. The only problem is the Maono Link software, this isn't available for the Maono Link software for those devices yet. So only PC, like Windows and stuff like that. So this is what it sounds like with nothing on it. And I did the auto gain through the Vocaster, so that's where my gain has come from. And then I've got it, so I'll go ahead and go through my filters. And this is in Prism because I cannot use OBS at the current time. There seems to be something going on between my Vocasters, both of them, and OBS, but they work fine in Prism, so this is in Prism. Prism is very similar, so I'm going to go ahead and turn on the RN noise. Now we've got the noise suppression on. I'm going to turn it back off real quick and do a moment of silence. Now I'll turn it back on, and I'll do that same moment of silence. This is with the noise suppression on. Okay, so there's that. And then we will turn on the Marvel, my VST plugin. It's an EQ plugin. Now I've got the EQ plugin turned on. This is what that's going to sound like. And then I'm going to turn on the 3-band EQ. Now I've got the 3-band EQ, the Marvel, and the noise suppression. And then I'll turn the limiter on. That's just going to keep me from going too crazy and getting too loud and clipping. I don't typically get crazy, so not a big threat anyway. I'm at about a distance of about 5 inches. This is what it's going to sound like at 5 inches. All right. So let me listen to this and see how it sounds, and then we'll do some plosive tests, some proximity, and some off-axis rejection. All right, so now I'll go ahead and do a little plosive test. I'll go ahead and go straight into the capsule. Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers, and he puts pineapple on his pizza. That's with the pop filter that comes with it. We can go ahead and slide it off maybe. And this is what it's going to sound like without that. Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers, and he puts pineapple on his pizza. Definitely want to use this. And this is what it's going to sound like when you get right on top of it. And I am literally a finger's width away. One finger, my finger, not somebody else's. Last I checked, this was mine. This is going to be your off-axis rejection, and then we'll move right around to 90 degrees. This is 90 degrees on this mic, the PD300X, and then we'll come right around to the back. This is 180 degrees, okay? And then we'll slowly come back around to the front of the mic. This is the off-axis for the PD300X. All right, so I do have, keep in mind I do have my filters on, so the sound you're hearing is with my filters. And we'll go ahead and do some noise cancellation, noise resonance, how good it blocks out stuff like bumping into things, keyboard tapping. So real quick, we'll go ahead and do some typing on the keyboard. That's what that's going to sound like. And then if you were to accidentally bump the boom, bumping into the XLR cable, the mic, or the shock mount, those are the sounds you're going to get if you were to accidentally do this, something like that. And everybody knows sometimes you get animated, your hands accidentally hit things, and that's what it's going to sound like with the PD300X. I turned off all the filters, including noise suppression, and we'll go ahead and do those same tests with no filters, just how the mic sounds coming right out of the box. And this is going to be straight into the mic at about 4 inches away. Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers, and he puts pineapple on his pizza. This is what it's going to sound like when you get right on top of the mic. This is the PD300X. And then we will do some off-axis rejection. This is talking straight into the mic at a distance of about 4 to 5 inches. And then we'll move right around to the side. This is 90 degrees. And then to the back, this is 180 degrees. And then we will slowly come back around to the front of the mic. This is what it sounds like on the PD300X doing your off-axis rejection. For comparison's sake, I have hooked up the FineFine K688. I think they're very similar. They look a lot alike. The FineFine does not have a knob. It does have the mute button. If you're in USB mode, you can use that. But other than that, it doesn't have a knob, but they look very similar. The K688 is a lot bigger, but this is the sound that you're going to get out of the box with the K688. There is no filters hooked up. And we'll go ahead and do those same tests real quick. And this is looking straight into the capsule. All right, let me just point this up a little bit. Okay, Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers. All right. Do the same thing without the pop filter. Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers, and he puts pineapple on his pizza. This is how it sounds with no pop filter on the K688. All right, so then we'll do a proximity. This is what it's going to sound like when you get right on top of the FineFine K688. I don't know why I'm squinting my eyes so much, but this is what it's going to sound like. Proximity effect. I don't know if I have enough cable here, but I'm going to attempt to do the same thing. We're going to do some off-axis rejection on the FineFine K688 just to compare it to the Maono PD300X. All right, this is talking straight into the front of the mic, and then we'll move slowly around to 90 degrees, and then we'll move around some more to the back, which is now we're at 180 degrees, and then we'll start moving our way back around. This is 90 degrees, and then we are back around to the front of the mic. That's the off-axis rejection for the FineFine K688. So we could give a quick sample of the FineFine K688 with my filters. So we'll go ahead and jump into filters and turn those on. Remember, those are noise suppression. I have a VST EQ plugin, a 3-band EQ, and a limiter. All right, so now I have all those on. This is what it's going to sound like with my processing. How do you like it? How does it compare to the PD300X? Does it sound better? Does it sound about the same? You tell me. I'm going to go back and listen to it and tell you what I think. One cool thing that I noticed was the little mount ring that's inside this whole contraption of the suspension mount. The ring that is touching the mic it's solid rubber. So that's really cool. That's going to give it a little advantage when it comes to rejecting sound resonance, vibrations, things like that. That's pretty neat. I think they should all do this. They should all start using a solid rubber ring on the inside of these mounts. That just gives it an edge, gives it a little bit of a little feather in their cap. You know what I mean? So I'm going to go ahead and see if I can hook up the USB. I can't use Maono Link software, but I will be able to at least show you some of the features of the knob that's on there and the mute button, which the mute button is a clicky one. It's like a tactile button. It's not a touch capacitive, but we'll go ahead and hook it up, and we'll do some sampling and messing around with the USB. All right, so it's been a couple weeks. I haven't got this video done yet because it has been one thing after another stopping me from getting this thing done. Now we're doing the USB. All right, and you've got two controls on here. You have a mute and you've got a knob, which is the knob does your mic gain, your headphone volume, and your monitor ratio. Then the mute button, which mutes, I can go ahead and give you an example, and you can see that it works. The mute button, okay. So if you press and hold the mute button for 2 seconds, it kicks it into noise gate. So we're going to try that out. And now we've got the noise gate activated, in USB mode on the Maono PD300X. I think that's pretty cool. It looks like I'm clipping really bad, so I might have to turn my volume down. All right, so hopefully I'm not peaking anymore. It looks like I'm not. It looks like I might even be a little too far down. Let's go up a little bit. Okay. Um, but that's pretty cool, man. I love that it has built-in noise gate, and it doesn't really sound that bad. It doesn't sound really artificial and choppy, like chopping off your, the beginning and endings of your words. Sounds pretty good to me. I think that's a neat feature. So I'm gonna get all this done. I'm not gonna get into the Maono Link software because I can't. I have a Mac, and they don't have this mic set up on the Maono Link software as of yet. I was able to get it downloaded, but I can't. It doesn't work on this mic yet. So there's that. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn that noise gate off, and then we're back to no noise gate. And this is the Maono PD300X in USB mode, and I'm pretty much giving you all the functions I think I can give you without having the Maono Link software. So that's all I've got for that part. So that is my review of the Maono PD300X. Took me a little bit to get it finished. I'm on a different interface now. I started it with the Vocaster 2, and now I'm on the Rodecaster Duo. I am not, let's see, how do I say this right? I'm using noise suppression in OBS because I just had to turn on my air conditioner. First day that I've ever had to use my air conditioner for this season. I was actually sweating up here earlier. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, give me a thumbs up. I would appreciate it. Leave a comment below what you think about the PD300X. If it's something that you might consider grabbing for yourself. Comments are always wanted. I appreciate them. And I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys watching and subscribing and commenting. It makes this all kind of worth it. So thank you. But that's all I've got for now. Until the next review, I will see you in the next video. I'm out.